Alright, so I'm restarting section 5.7 because the program just stopped on me all of a sudden. So sorry if it looks a little messy. So I've already extended these lines because it says that WX is parallel to YF. So these two lines are parallel. Right, keeping the little parallel lines off of those lines because I don't want them to be confused with congruency lines. I'm just going to extend those lines a little bit because when you have parallel lines like that, there's a good chance you might be using some transversal laws, transversal angles and stuff. So I just kind of extended the lines a little bit, and then I drew these lines a little bit more because those are all the transversals that kind of go through there. Okay, and then it says that WX, line WX, I'll make that blue, I guess. Line WX. Oh, no, let me make that red. Line WX here. Line WX is congruent to YD. YD. Alright, I'll make that a single mark. Okay. And so then we have to prove here that WY, that's this one here, WY is congruent to XD. It's congruent to XD. Those are the two that I'm proving congruent. Okay, so probably going to have to be proven these triangles are congruent, and then use CP/CTC to prove these triangles are congruent. That's what I'm guessing. I haven't worked this problem yet, and I haven't looked at anything yet. Well, I mean, I have worked the problem. I was almost there, and then the thing quit. So, so I know I know how to get there pretty easily. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is that these angles are congruent because vertical angles are congruent. So that's WMX is congruent to DMY. That's the first one because vertical angles are congruent. Let's call that 1A. Okay, that's my one angle. So I have an angle, I have a side, and I have an angle opposite that side. So now I'm looking for a transversal angle in here somewhere. Okay, so now I'm looking inside for this red triangle. Well, here's a nice handy one here, right? Maybe I can use this angle. Let's say a double angle, and then the opposite, and sort of the adjacent and internal angle is also free and clear. It's not broken up by anything, so I can say that those two angles are congruent. And so that's that's DYM. That's 2 DYM. Some room for that. Angle DYM is congruent to angle WXM. Angle WXM, because alternate interior angles are congruent. That's 2. This was 1. Okay, and then I can say that's angle. We have an angle and a side, or an angle and an angle and a side. Now I can say with certainty that triangle. I can say that triangle. Use the same ones. Triangle DYM is congruent to triangle WXM because of the angle side congruence postulate. All right, awesome. So now that I said that, now I can say everything about these two triangles. All the corresponding parts of these triangles are congruent because these triangles are congruent. All right, so which parts of these triangles are going to help me prove that these triangles are congruent? Because once I prove these triangles are congruent, I can say that these parts of these triangles that are corresponding are congruent, and that's what I'm trying to prove over here. Okay, so here we go. These parts are shared, right? So, and so that will help. All right, so I'll say that these angles I've already used. I guess it doesn't really matter which ones I use, but I'll use 3. I use 3 because it would be 3 for this one. Try to make them the same, kind of. And then this one would be 2 for this one. And this one would be 2 for this one. That's 2 for this one here. Okay, so I know that this one is 2 for this one, right? So that these two are congruent, right? So this one is 3 because this one is 3 here. 1, 2, 3. This one matches this one, so this one is 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to change this to blue. 1, 2. Okay, because this is the same as this, right? It matches that. Okay, so now I have, and then of course I have this one. I have I'll call this one 1. Call this one 1 because it's a vertical angle. And I can't prove that one yet, but it's going to be that one. Okay, so the vertical angles are congruent. All right, so I can now say, so I got my angle side going on now. Okay, so I'm going to say that this one, this will be 4. Oh, no, this was 4 was no, yeah, 4 was yeah, 4 was, this was 3. Yeah, 3 was there. So 4. These were 4. We'll say 4. I'll say this was 4. 4. I'll say that ym was congruent to xm, and that wm is congruent to dm, because of corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Okay, I guess that would be 4 as well. Okay, so then now that I have this, and this, I can say that these two triangles are congruent. I can say that triangle WMY is congruent to triangle DMX, right? Because of the side angle side angle side, and then after that I will be able to say that this will be 6. I'll be able to say that WY is congruent. This was 5. And this is 6. I'll be able to say that WY is congruent to XD because of the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Okay, so that is that. So let me fill out what I believe to be the questions in here, right? So this was a given, so because of this, I was able to say 2. I was able to say that these two angles were congruent because of that reason, right? Because these two angles were these two lines were congruent, I was able to say, and let's see, because these two angles were congruent. Oh, this is 3 things feeding into this. Okay, so so this is all by itself. So this is going to be the vertical angle thing. So this is going to be 1 because of 1A. Because this is 2A. Okay, and then this is going to be 3. Now where's, oh, this is given. This is going to be 3. So 3A. And let's kind of skip ahead a little bit. All right. Okay, so what is this thing saying? What is statement belongs in this block? Okay, so question. So what is question 7? Explains if it's possible for us to to prove that WM is congruent to MD. WM is congruent to MD. Yes, it is. Yes, because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Specifically, we'll pick one. Any one of these triangles are congruent. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. Explain if it is possible to prove that WXM is congruent to DMY. WXM is congruent to DMY. Yes, I already did that using the same statements. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, let's take a look at. That's the way I proved. That's the way I did this one. I'll put it on pause and see what they say about the actual answers.